Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing how to install a powered subwoofer in a 2022 Hyundai Elantra N. I will also be showing how to remove the factory Bose subwoofer. In this install I chose to go with a Rockford Fosgate powered subwoofer and an audio control LCI2. I'll be showing how both of those were installed into this vehicle. The first thing that we're going to want to do is remove the battery. To disconnect the battery, there is a small plate that holds the battery in place that will need to be removed. You will need to use a 12mm socket to remove this plate. After removing the plate, you can either move the battery out of the way slightly if possible, or you will need to disconnect the negative and positive terminal of the battery and just remove the battery from the vehicle. So then that will give you access to the firewall. Depending on the size of the power wire that you'll be using, the positive terminal does have a cover. If it is an 8-gauge wire, you should be able to slip that through easily, as I did. If it's a larger wire, you may need to modify the factory cover to give you a nice, clean look. Once the battery has been removed, you'll have access to a large rubber grommet. Using a utility knife, make a small hole towards the top of the grommet, away from the center portion of wires. Using a fishing line, tape the power wire to the fishing line and feed the wire through the grommet. Route the power wire on the driver's side behind the kick panel and under the scuff plates. Tuck the wire under the remaining plastic panels down the driver's side. You'll need to remove the rubber seal around the bottom of each door, the front and the rear. I found that you don't need to remove the kick panel if using 8-gauge power wire. When removing the scuff plates, you'll just need to take plastic trim removal tools and pop up the scuff plates. You can also do this with your hands. They're fairly easy to remove. Just be mindful of the clips so that you don't break them. I did find them to be pretty sturdy, and I didn't have any issue removing either the front or rear scuff plate. Next, you're going to want to remove the rear seats. To do this, you'll need to remove two 12mm bolts in the rear bottom cushion. All you'll need to do is put your hand by the cushion and then just simply push down a little bit. You should be able to see the bolt. If not, it's fairly easy to feel with your hand, and then you use your 12mm socket to remove that bolt. You will also need to then remove the rear scuff plate. But to do this, there is a screw that will need to be removed prior to popping that panel up. Fold down the rear seat back. This will give you access to the plastic trim piece behind the rear seat. You'll need to remove 7 plastic retaining clips and 2 10mm bolts. After this is done, you will pull out the 2 pieces. You'll need to remove the 2 rear trim pieces. They have 3 clips holding them in place. You'll need to pry them back and then up to remove them. Be careful, as the middle clip is easy to break. After removing the 2 rear pillars, you'll need to remove the side bolster trim panels. There's 4 clips holding them in place. This is easy to pop from the side. Make sure you have the rubber door seal partially removed. You'll need to unplug the center brake light, which can be accessed inside the trunk. Then you'll need to push up on the rear deck piece and remove it. There are 4 clips holding the panel in place. The panel will not come out completely as it is still tethered to the center seat belt. With the shelf removed, you can now remove the subwoofer, disconnect the harness, and remove the 4 10mm nuts that hold it into place. I've included a wiring diagram for the car and a wiring diagram for the Bose amplifier. Please feel free to pause the video and look over the wiring diagrams of both. To access the Bose amplifier, it is located in the trunk on the passenger side. You'll need to unscrew the bolt, which is used to attach the cargo net, and remove a plastic trim bolt. You will then have access to the amplifier. You can loosen the 3 bolts that hold the amp in place, and then slide back and remove the amp. There is no need to remove the nuts. By keeping them on there, it will help you put the amp easily back into place. At this point, you'll need to tap in to the Bose amplifier. You're going to have 2 plugs. One is a black plug, and that houses all of your speaker wires. One is a white plug, and this is going to house your power, ground, accessory turn-on wires. In the white wiring harness, use the blue-pink line wire for the amp turn-on. In the black harness, use the brown and white wire for the subwoofer. Brown is positive, white is negative. I chose to use an LCI2 from Audio Control, which helped to keep a nice, clean signal to the subwoofer. I believe that this is a must-have product for this install, as it does give a, again, nice, clean signal to your sub. To help hold the subwoofer in place, I used a couple pieces of Velcro on the bottom of the subwoofer, which held it into place onto the factory carpeting. I also used a Rapid, which is a piece of Velcro that has like an attachment to the end that I was able to screw into the subwoofer. This makes removing the subwoofer very easy, since the subwoofer comes with quick disconnects, and then the Velcro makes it very simple to unhook and remove if need be. My ground wire is attached underneath the seat, and I used a self-tapping screw to ground the grounding wire. The removal of the factory sub is not necessary, but it is necessary if you do not want to cut any factory wires. Finally, I installed the Audio Control ACR1. I ran this back through the same path that I ran the power wire on the driver's side. Again, this is not a necessity, but it was a very nice thing to use. I would actually suggest using an LCI2 Pro versus the LCI2 that I used. The Pro makes install just a little bit easier as far as setting everything up, and the LCI control I felt was better than using the supplied Rockford Fosgate subwoofer gain control. I could set my gains on the subwoofer, which were very, very low, so it really didn't give me a lot of adjustment with that control knob. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, which is in the description. I also have links to all the items used in the description as well. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.